Hey everyone, we are doing a collaboration called Dear Younger Me. It was started by Lorella, Not a Farm Girl, a Homestead Story.
Hey y'all, I'm Kat. My husband and I moved our family from the city to the country hills of Kentucky to build our homestead, now keto inspired. David always says,
"A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children."
That's exactly what we're doing on Keto Country Homestead.
If I were to talk to my younger self, I really have 2 points that I would want to make. For me, in the beginning, when we first started, I tried to do way too much and too fast. It got really overwhelming, and also I was really the only one pushing for it fully. Even though I had support, it wasn't really wanted at the time. So if I could go back in time, I would try to be more patient and wait until me and David both wanted to do the homesteading stuff, except for small things like a garden. But I'm talking about like livestock and those type of things, because I pushed for them, and then it was a lot of hassle for me to have to try to get things done, try to get help when David was trying to work, and then, that sort of thing. So, trying to get fences built when goats need to be penned up, but there's also work to be done to make money. You have to prioritize the money which pays the bills. Start slow also, because you really learn a lot from getting things. You learn a lot from other people, but you really don't get the experience until you have the animals yourself on your land, on your property. And so start slow. Just get one thing and then learn it really well. Learn all you can about that. When you've learned enough to where you've sustained it for a long time, then get yourself something else when you feel like you have enough time, energy, focus to learn something new. My second real point is... Really, Luna? My second point is to learn from others. Before you go out and get goats, before you go out and get chickens, learn from someone else in your area. Because chickens in California might not be the same as chickens in North Carolina or chickens in Kentucky. So learn from, and especially gardening, learning from others in your area is really important. Go visit local farms, try to take a farm tour, ask all the questions you can. Talk to the locals. Talk to your neighbor who has a garden and ask him what his best advice for you would be. And that's really the advice that I would give myself at a younger age, is to just be patient, do things slow, calm, focused, and learn from others, learn from locals especially, because everywhere is different.
Dear younger me, when planning your homestead or when starting, don't worry about money. Don't wait for it to be right. When we first started, Kat was really gung-ho and ready to go full steam ahead, as much as she could get accomplished, as much as she could do. And I was all like, whoa, slow down, chill out, hold up, wait a minute. But that slowness on my part to move forward came from a certain amount of trepidation that I had about losing money while trying to figure things out. And really what I should have been thinking was, how much money can I afford to lose for the sake of education? the price of education, which most of our investments in, especially livestock, has been a price of education. But yeah, I should have just thought, how can I budget this into what we want to try and what we want to learn, as opposed to thinking, okay, I need to get everything set and straight and organized. I need to have all of these financial goals accomplished before I can even start homesteading. And I don't think Kathy was going to let me do that anyway, but there would have been less tension or resistance on my part between me and her if I had just said, okay, we're going to do this. It's okay to move forward. We're only going to move forward in small increments anyway. Let's figure out an appropriate budget for this. And we started with a compost bin, and then we moved on to rabbits. So yeah, I should have just been a little bit more mindful of that. And this leads into the next point. I created negativity when I didn't need to. I saw money flying out towards projects. I mean, it was like every weekend there's like more fencing. I need a new gate. There's a new barn to be built. Animal feed regularly throughout the week. I mean, it's just, all this money flying out. And I think that if I had complained less and been negative less, then I probably could have sat down and communicated with her better as to how much money we wanted to spend or could spend, and create a budget that we could both be held accountable to. Meaning she'd hold me accountable to how much I'd have to spend, and I'd hold her accountable to how much she is limited to spend. But yeah, I think I could have created less negativity in our initiation of just getting started with homesteading. One that's personal to me is keep the animals out of the yard. We had sheep and chickens just free ranging everywhere, which meant poop on my porch, on my walkways, sometimes on my car, on some of my tools if they were under the awning of my garage. It was just really irritating. And then it attracted flies, which aren't that bad. They're not that annoying, but what the flies like to do, I notice, is hang out around the edges of doors and windows, and as soon as they get a chance, they rush in. So we had to deal with a lot of that our first year once we moved to our property, our homestead property. So keep the animals out of the yard. And one animal that I think we agree we don't want to raise again is guineas. We got guinea fowl, and they're really cool, very aggressive bug eaters. But my goodness, they sound like a parking lot full of car alarms. It was terrible, and it was super annoying to our neighbors, and I felt bad about that. But we did make a pretty good profit on them. We raised close to 20 and sold them all for a really good price, and I was happy to see them go. Oh man, while I'm on it too, like we had really good duck flock, and we assumed that our flock of ducks was, the eggs that we got from them. We had a drake and several females, and we just assumed their eggs were going to be really good. They tasted good, but we thought they would be really good for hatching, and we hatched them out. We had the ducklings in a brooder. We were raising them, and we thought, well, let's go ahead and eat and sell the old flock. We'll get rid of those and let the new flock come up. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Out with the old, in with the new. Unfortunately, it seems like the original flock that we had were probably brothers and sisters, and so the ducklings that we had from them were inbred. They were not good breeders. They were not good layers, and they were stupid, just always getting into trouble, getting themselves hurt or killed. So I wish I could have warned us about that, because that first flock of ducks we had were really awesome. I would love to have them back, but they're gone. Yeah, I guess my last point Oh, I can't read my writing. Oh yeah, fencing. So fencing is a big deal out here. For us, fencing is important. We have 7 kids, ranging from 1-year-old to 12-year-old. It's really important for us to have fencing. We live right here at the Daniel Boone National Forest, so there are bears, bobcats, mountain lions even, wild dogs, coyotes, even wolves, which are rare, but I've seen them and I've tracked them. And a guy from our church killed one. So, yeah, fencing is important, but knowing how to fence out here is extremely difficult because the land is so hilly. Everything is a challenge. But it's important to invest in good fencing material, especially if you're going to have a ram or a billy or big dogs, because they are going to test your fencing, especially Pyrenees. My goodness, they don't call them Pyrenees for nothing. They will find a way to get through your fencing. It's a constant battle. So I wish from the beginning we had budgeted just invest in really good fencing from the get-go, because ever since then we've just been fixing problems that the animals find. So good fencing, maybe some livestock wire, which I think we're probably going to do here very soon in the spring. But that's my letter to my younger me. I hope it can help and bless someone. Maybe if you're looking to homestead in the hills of Kentucky or any place where there's hills, be prepared to do a lot of extra work. Just walking across the yard is a little bit harder than walking on flat land or at the beach. So yeah, and then work with your spouse, work with your budget, work with your partner on money. You know, be open in your communications, your expectations, and find a common ground instead of trying to resist each other as often as I resisted her. So that'd be my best advice. Good luck to you all. God bless you.